All right, we should be streaming on all live services now, and here we go.
All right, so hey guys, welcome. Carlos Estrada Vega here with Estrada Vega Capital tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have executives and we have great industry leaders. Tonight we have an opportunity for all of you in regards to the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit. And I want to make sure that I have our COO and our operations officer in our company actually take this, because he's actually been working on this and for you guys specifically, and to bring you this opportunity. So, hey, Brock, welcome tonight.
Hey, thanks, Carlos.
Here, and actually, take it away, brother.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm super excited to be here. We've been working on this for some time now, and I'm going to introduce everyone here on our call. But guys, this is the official launch of our ERC. This is going to be huge. So if you guys are business owners, or a lot of business owners, you want to make some money, this is the place to be. So today, guys, what we're going to be going over is you guys are going to be able to meet some of the top executives within iHub. You're going to be able to ask questions. You're going to get direct answers. We're going to allow you to kind of hop in here live with us, because this is really for you, right? Carlos and I had discussed about bringing about this ERC platform to all of our clients. And we wanted to make sure one thing was on top compared to everything else, and that was for you guys to make some money. So I guess let's hop right into this. The first person that I'm going to introduce you guys to, this is going to be Mike. He's with iHub. He is the top executive. He's the top trainer there, and you guys have a lot to learn. So Michael Glick, please take it away.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Michael Glick. I'm an executive with Bottom Line Concepts. My journey with ERC started back in March of 2021, because I was actually the 6th client of Bottom Lines, right? I owned 2 restaurants. I was actually the 6th and 7th client. I own 2 restaurants, one that closed during the pandemic. I had to make that tough decision. The other that's still operating today. And just as an example, with ERC, Bottom Line filed for one of my businesses, 15 employees, $160,000 that came to my business, right? So I know this thing firsthand as a small business owner and as a client, right? And we started this process back in March of 2021. So quickly after I learned about ERC and I got, went through the process for my own business, I became a referral partner with Bottom Line, right? So I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm proud to say that I've referred over $20 million in ERC for my clients, right? Wow. I have put away enough money during this process to put both of my 2 sons through college. This is an absolutely real opportunity. And it is tremendous, right? 6 million plus businesses out in the United States, across the country, and in U.S. territories. Any business with a federal identification number in the U.S. can be eligible for this, right? Wow. And although today, different from 2 years ago, when many people didn't know about ERC, now it seems you can't really kind of move on the radio when you're traveling in the car, you're on social media, you're going to see ERC all over the place, right? But we have to understand something, that if there are 6 million businesses and maybe 1.5 million, 2 million businesses have taken advantage of this, there is so much opportunity still out there, right? So as an individual who has done it in every different way, from, going door to door to businesses, emailing, social media, LinkedIn, there are so many ways to reach business owners. And it really is a once in a lifetime opportunity for two people in the process. One, the referring partner who's referring these businesses, and the other, these small businesses that we are helping. Okay. So, listen, I don't know how much everybody knows about ERC, but I'll do my quick kind of, overview of what is ERC and how can you help these businesses, right? So ERC, the Employee Retention Credit, comes out of the CARES Act 2020, originally a business that had chose to retain its employees had two options on stimulus, right? They had PPP, the Payroll Protection Program, or ERC, right? You could not take both. Everybody took PPP loans, and everybody knows about PPP, right? When it first came out, businesses were struggling. Everybody was panicking. They promoted this nonstop. Everybody knew about the program, and most businesses, if not all businesses, took PPP and looked at ERC and kind of moved on. ERC was the kind of redheaded stepchild, right? No offense to the redheads out there, but from the perspective that ERC was limited to only $5,000 per employee. It was a tax credit, and you had to have a ridiculously big revenue decrease just to qualify, right? So, but now Joe Biden and the new administration come in 21, and their administration makes huge changes to the program, right? First, they allow businesses to file for both ERC and PPP. Wasn't allowed before. Second, increase the amount from $5,000 in 2020 to $7,000 per quarter for the first 3 quarters of 21. But then most importantly, they created an alternate, much easier way to qualify. And that's called a change in operations, right? So there are 2 ways to qualify. One is a revenue decrease. It's quantitative. It's specific, 50% 2020 to 19, 20% 2021 to 2019. Those are quarter-to-quarter comparisons. But now, after this change in legislation, a business who didn't have those revenue decreases could now qualify on what they call a change in operations, which means how did the business need to change or pivot the way it operated in a more than nominal way during the pandemic as compared to 2019 due to government orders, right? So what does that mean, right? So let's take my example, the restaurant example, right? We were forced to close indoor dining, had to pivot to outdoor dining, curbside pickup. Even when we were allowed back inside, right, reduced capacity, social distancing, personal protective equipment, and the supply chain was a nightmare. So even if my business or other businesses did well, had increases, or didn't have a major decrease in revenue, now they could still qualify if they were forced to make these changes in operation. And that opens up this field to like 85% of all businesses, right? So restaurants, retail, doctors, dentists, veterinarians, healthcare, colleges, universities, manufacturing, lawyers, accounting firms, nonprofits, churches, temples, right? So the list is endless. And all you have to do is ask one question. And I ask it in one of 2 ways. Have you heard of or have you filed for ERC, the Employee Retention Credit? And on that question, you're going to get back 3 answers. You're going to get back, oh yeah, we know and we filed. Awesome, congrats. 2, we never heard of that. What is that program? An unbelievable business to obviously, now refer to bottom line, right? And lastly, oh yeah, we know about that, but we don't or we didn't qualify. And now you've struck gold, right? Because those are the best businesses to refer to bottom line for ERC, because most likely their accountant or their CPA told them, you don't qualify, you didn't have the revenue decrease necessary. And as we just discussed, everything changed when the legislation changed, opening this up to almost all businesses, right? So that question that you ask people, right? That question, have you heard of, have you filed for ERC, will result, if they give you that second or third answer, will result in them getting 5, 6, and even 7 figures, right? Even millions of dollars in a payroll refund that never needs to be paid back. And there were no restrictions on how you can use the funds, right? So it's an opportunity that, although there's a lot of chatter out there, there's a lot of information, there's also a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of firms out there, rookies or new firms, ERC in the name, that just joined onto this bandwagon, right? That do not have their clients' best interest, in mind. They're pushing them into the full 26,000. They're pushing them into time periods they don't possibly, qualify for. And they're only in for it for themselves. Bottom line is, yes, about maximizing that refund for the clients, but also protecting that client. 35,000 businesses over 58,000 submissions, and not a single one of those submissions with a red flag or audit to date, right? We're the number one firm in the world doing this. We're approaching 6 billion in ERC refunds for our clients. And we have grown from the moment that I joined this company, right, as a full-time guy at 60 W-2 employees. We're now 350 deep, right? So we have the infrastructure to handle whatever is thrown at us, and we will 100% take care of our clients. And also, when it comes to the referral partner program, it's the heart and soul of everything that we do from the beginning. We're a 15-year-old company, right? So it's all about the referral partners. It's all about paying out those commissions to the people like you who are going to bring us the money. All right. I'm going to sign off in a moment and let some others talk. Last month, $7.7 million paid out to our referral partners, right? And as far as iHub, one of our 100% most successful partners, they are absolute beasts, and you are absolutely in the greatest of hands working with iHub.
All right.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Michael, can you just speak to some of your clients' names just real quick?
Yeah. So, as far as bottom line goes, right, first 13 years of our business, our focus was on Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, right? So what we're talking about there is, Blackstone, Citibank, right? The Yankees, the Red Sox, the Lakers, Rolex, Popeyes, American Express, Uber. There is no ERC company that has the clients that we have, that has been doing government aid, tax recovery work with the IRS for the past 15 years. No other company can match our experience.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right, Brock.
So good stuff. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for your time. Love it. Absolutely. So let's see here. Now, what do we think? Don next? Don, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Cool. So guys, just to let you know, this is Don Cotton here. Don has a deep background in technology and business. He was an enterprise, definitely knows his stuff. Okay, so now after Don was a chief information officer for General Motors Commercial Finance, and with his brother Rick, which is iHub's founder and CEO, Don went on to build several successful companies where he first served as CIO and then CEO. Now, in his recent years, Don's been a consultant to Senate and presidential candidates and works with creative agencies to build large-scale ad campaigns for companies such as Ferrari. So awesome stuff. Don, take it away.
Oh, thanks so much, Brock. I appreciate it. And Michael, thank you for sharing a little bit about what you guys have been doing, because I know I haven't been, obviously none of us have been doing ERC that long because it hasn't been around that often or that long. And, Carlos and Brock, I really love what you guys are doing. I think that your heart for small business is phenomenal. And I had a chance to go to your 10 by 360 event and I was just blown away. I mean, these guys, if you're on this call and you're working with these guys, with Omar and Brock and Carlos, these guys have a real heart for people. I've known Omar for years and years, and you couldn't be working with a better group of folks. And I'll tell you, I sat in that audience spellbound watching that stuff, and I've been in business for a long time, and I learned a lot from those young men. So I think you guys are in good hands with them, and I think they're selfless guys, and the fact that they're bringing this opportunity, I think, is just awesome. And so my goal here today, before I hand it over to Eric, is just to sort of share with you a little bit about the opportunity, to add a little bit more color to what Michael was saying. And then also to talk about a real case study of one of our affiliates, an affiliate who's been doing this for about 4.5 months, and show you the kind of money that this person's made. And the beautiful thing about this business is, it's just ridiculously simple. And like Michael, I'm here because I was watching iHub, where my brother Rick is the CEO. And I was doing pretty good. I was having my fun doing my ads, and my ads are all over airports. And, I kind of worked on my own when I wanted to and fly my airplane. And I was playing pickleball. And then Rick gave me a knock one day and said, "Hey, bro, we need some help with this enterprise program because we're just drowning Eric and he needs a little bit of help." So I ended up here. And I think once you see this opportunity, it's really difficult to ignore it, because timing is a funny thing, right? Buying Bitcoin too late, or real estate too late, or Google too late didn't get you rich. In fact, some of us probably lost money doing that, right? And I once heard a great quote by an old friend of mine about timing. He said that, timing is the ability to see the opportunity before it becomes the obvious, right? Before it becomes the obvious. When it's obvious to everybody what a big moneymaker this is, it's too late, right? And so the beautiful thing is, guys, we're in this room right now and the opportunity is still wide open in front of us. It's phenomenal. Michael shared with us how he ended up here as a result of seeing how the whole ERC process worked and for how big it was for him in his business. And, so whether you're like Mike and you're putting your kids through college, or you're trying to buy a first home or recover from a lousy economy or a layoff, this opportunity is not hard to promote. And I think the biggest hurdle, honestly, is just actually being presented with the opportunity. This is not an opportunity that many people are getting presented with. Businesses are, but the opportunity to present it and to participate on receiving income from that promotion, a very fair cut will make you a lot of money. Is I think pretty rare. There's not a lot of us doing it. And so, congratulations for seeing the opportunity being in this room. I commend you guys for that. So obviously, if you read social media, most of us do, we see, our feeds are full of bad news right now, right? There's just a ton of negative sentiment. And I'll tell you, I'm a student of the economy and of the market. And it seems to me like over the last 8 to 10 years, we're seeing a lot of people get very wealthy, certainly, but we're also seeing a lot of have and have nots, right? You've sort of got this rich tier of people, and then you've got a big gap, and you've got a lot of people making $15 an hour jobs that, and some of these jobs that they're working would have supported families 50 years ago. Now they can barely survive. And so I think the other thing that's really cool about this, and I've seen it personally with my own little brother, who struggled a little bit, and he got into this thing about a month ago. And he's already made like $20,000. So if you know somebody out there who's making $15 an hour or $20 an hour, and that they've got untapped potential, you don't need a degree in anything in order to do this and be successful. You simply need to have the ability to put your nose to the grind and get working, and the opportunity is pretty obvious. So right now we're obviously in the midst of an AI boom, right? We hear about it all the time. If you haven't heard about Chat GPT, go mess around a little bit. It'll blow your mind. And I was, and it's, for some of us, we look at it as an AI boom, a revolution, or for maybe some people, depending on your perspective, it's a doomsday scenario. We've all seen the Terminator movies. And I was talking to some friends that I was on the court that they playing pickleball, and we were talking about AI, and some guy mentioned, because he knows I'm a musician, I'm a drummer and a guitar player. And he said he saw this guy make this incredible video using AI. And he said he just kind of typed it in. He wanted the style, and all of a sudden there was Drake singing, and he had a whole song. And I'm going, that's terrible. I don't like that at all. As a musician, I don't like this. As an artist, I don't like this. And I personally think some things should be left to mankind. Personally, lately, kind of getting back to the news thing, I think our political system makes me wonder sometimes, though, if perhaps we shouldn't actually consider welcoming our robot overlords. But, from our perspective, the best use of technology isn't just to eliminate humans from the equation, right? And you're going to see this, and you're going to hear this a lot about this from Eric and his team. But instead, what we do is we build systems that are quickly deployed, easy to use, and enhanced, not replace human interaction, right? It's that unique combination of human, high touch, and high technology, I think, that really drives tremendous success, especially when you're dealing with a people-to-people business, which is really what most business is outside of pure internet marketing. I've worked, Brock, thank you for the introduction. You mentioned some of the companies I've worked for. I worked for some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies. I worked for Microsoft, and I used to champion the artificial learning stuff. So it was the early days of AI. And I'll tell you, back then, it was not at all uncommon for us to build software solutions with 1 or 2 year implementations. Okay. So for a long time, we wanted to build these massive software platforms that could do everything, given enough time. But if you want to find success, today, you need to be nimble. And I think that speaks to surrounding yourselves with very capable people like Carlos and Brock and Omar, and Michael Glick, and my buddy Eric, that I'm going to introduce you to here in a couple of minutes. And the other thing that you can do when you're in this business and you're working with a company like Strata Vega Capital is you can borrow their credibility. So if you've never done anything, if you've ever worked in business or had to go out and help recruit businesses in your life, you can borrow their credibility. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. So when you get involved in this thing and people ask you what you do, that's not necessarily a time to tell them you're a brand new green ERC promoter and you're terrified when you get on the phone call. Instead, share with them how excited you are to be working with a firm that's helping businesses get government money back for almost 15 years. borrow Michael's credibility, borrow his company's credibility because they're incredible at it. Send them to their website, show them the companies they've worked for. When you look at it, it's a who's who of Fortune 500 companies. And by working with these guys, you won't believe the amount of money they've helped return to businesses. And that's the company you're associated with. And you can't believe how easy this is, right? Impart enthusiasm, impart excitement, and borrow their credibility. I mean, think about it. Again, I was talking to another guy the other day on the pickleball court, and he asked me this, and I basically did what I just told you. And I said, Larry, how many people do you have in your company back in the COVID years? He said, well, I had 10 people. I said, well, man, you might be due for $250,000 worth of refunds. That guy couldn't get my information quick enough to find out what that was all about. $250,000 for having 10 employees, right? Who wouldn't welcome that kind of revenue? Let me switch over here to the, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna share a little case study with you. Eric, you can feel free to jump in and add some color here, but Eric will be joining us here in a second. So can you guys see that screen?
Yep.
All right. So what we've got here, and this is just a little bit of an entree into the system. And Eric is going to bring you through the entire thing here in a little. Well, he's not going to bring you through the entire thing. He's going to bring you through the piece that you're going to need to get started tomorrow. But I want to give you an idea. So what we're looking at is as an affiliate, and I like to talk about this. We have a lot of Joe the plumbers in iHub, just people who are working class folks who, again, saw the opportunity before it became the obvious and started calling businesses and started sending them to our very simple system, right? I think I was listening to one of Michael's calls, and he said, look, if you were a business and you had 5 or more employees in 2021 during the COVID era, and you can send them to a web page and have them fill out a piece of information and book a phone call, that's fundamentally your job. You don't need, in fact, the more difficult you make this, the smarter you try to get, you're probably going to get yourself screwed up. All we need to do is refer people, and then the bottom line concepts, folks are going to handle it. And when your business gets on the call with those guys, they know what they're doing. They're going to steal the deal. They're going to find out if there's money available for your client. You don't have to do a lot of that work. You couldn't get it any easier. So this gentleman, I guess he was about 4.5 months, Eric, 5 months worth of work. This is, again, so what you guys are looking at right here is you're looking at the dashboard that you're all going to have in your back office. And again, I know you probably have a lot of questions, and Eric will go through it with you. But what I want to highlight is the amount of money that this gentleman made in about 4.5, 5 months. Okay. So what you're looking at here is his deal volume. So this is the amount of money that he helped get back for ERC businesses. They help return to the businesses via refunds. This is the earnings he's got so far based on the deals he submitted to the IRS, the bottom line submitted to the IRS. All he did was make some phone calls, refer them to the website, and then set up an appointment with one of the bottom line consultants. And this guy's going to make over $1 million in submitted deals. That's pretty exciting, right? Who couldn't use $1 million over the next 4.5 months?
No, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Okay, now here's where it gets even cooler. So this gentleman also introduced additional people that could also go out and try to find deals. So we call this his front line. So if I introduced all the folks in this call, I said, hey guys, I want to tell you about this amazing opportunity, or perhaps I help them get an ERC refund like Michael. Now Michael's excited to go tell other people about this. He got the money. Why would he want to tell his other friends about the money, right? So you also get a percentage of their deal. So every single time a refund is initiated, you guys are going to get a 10% bonus on that. Okay. And then every single time one of the people that you introduce to the opportunity brings somebody in, you're going to get basically a match of what they get. You're going to get half what they got for simply making the introduction for them going out and doing work. So if you know somebody who has a lot of business to business exposure, who works a lot of business, could be a real estate agent, could be a hairdresser, could be anybody, right? And you bring them in, you're going to get 50% of what they got. So this person has made another $142,000 in additional revenue from their frontline people. Okay. So we've got 1.137 and we've got 142,000 so far. Now, those are just the deals we've submitted to the IRS. The way the process works, without getting into a ton of detail, is once you send that contact over to bottom line, if they get them to sign an agreement, now we're in the process of collecting documents and working through the pipeline in order to get that deal submitted. We call that document. We're just going to call that, for the sake of argument, or for simplicity, we're going to say that that's a deal that's in the pipeline. Okay. So this person has 157 deals in the pipeline. That agreement's been sent. Michael and his team are working on collecting those documents. And this individual is going to earn up to another $1 million. Again, they're not submitted yet, so there's no guarantees, but up to another $1 million in commissions. So this person's earned 1.1 million in signed deals. They've earned $142,000 from the people they brought in. and they're going to earn up to another $1 million based on the deals that are signed and being worked on. So well over $2 million based on about 4.5 months worth of work. I think we could all stand that, right?
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
Okay, with that, I'm going to bring Eric on. So I just want to talk about Eric for a second, because I'll tell you, one of the reasons I joined this team was because of Eric. You know, I talked about surrounding ourselves with great people. Well, Eric is the CIO of iHub Global. And again, what I love about this guy, first of all, he's egoless and he's a hard worker. He's a tireless worker. But Eric and his team, again, this is coming from a position of somebody who really understands software development. I've built some of the biggest systems you could imagine. And Eric and his team are able to do literally sometimes in days or weeks what would take other companies months and months to do. And they developed a very modular, business-centric approach towards software development. And I think what's really cool about it is they're not trying to be everything for everybody. They're building software that helps streamline opportunity. So listen, it's easy. There's a lot of companies that offer opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but when you can have a streamlined process that uses technology to make that very easy and highly effective, that's a win-win. And I think, Eric, you could certainly talk about this, or Michael could, but since iHub has joined up with Bottom Line Concepts, iHub has been the #1 referrer of deals. They've sent more deals to Bottom Line Concepts than anybody else out there. So you guys, by virtue of working with Carlos's team, you're going to get to plug into a system that's already sent over $1 billion worth of refunds back to customers. I showed you the example of one individual who's already made $2 million. This is a proven system. This is a proven opportunity where you don't have to go reinvent the wheel. You're going to get the landing pages. You're going to get the software system that flat out works and has been working now for 4, 5, 6 months, and people are making millions of dollars. It's proven, it's tested. And with that, I've asked Eric to come on, and Eric is going to basically, again, you're going to hear Eric over and over again. He's going to talk about keeping it simple. What do you guys need to do tomorrow in order to get started and be highly effective and start making this money yourself? So go ahead, Eric, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Don, and I appreciate it. A lot of good information, and I appreciate you guys for jumping on here today as well. And I think you guys are really coming in at the best possible time, because obviously you've heard everything that Michael had to say. I want to really build some credibility, with Bottom Line. We've had the experience to work with them in the last 5-6 months here. And, what they built as far as the ability to scale out. A lot of you guys might have questions. Well, can they really scale this to, if we're driving all this traffic and everything like that, there is always availability for phone calls for them getting on the phone. And so when it comes to that, the whole process for ERC it's so well streamlined. And then, the systems that iHub is bringing to the table, as well as you're about to hear, you guys just get the best of both worlds coming together right now. So I want to kind of walk you guys through the system a little bit and kind of just do a little bit of training, but it is about keeping it simple. And this is really about referrals, guys. This is about talking with people, starting with your warm market contacts. We all have our local places that we frequent, that we spend money, our local, restaurants, our barber, our nail, salon, our church, our mosque, our temple, community centers. All of these are potential, right? And so when you start with your warm market, it goes back to that question that Michael said, have you heard of or have you filed for the employee retention credit? Now, as you guys are going out and asking that question, and I love it because it's just a win-win-win all the time, you're going to need a system to manage this entire process. So what I want to do is I'll share my screen as well and kind of just show you guys, and we're going to have follow-up trainings as well. We're going to dive into this deeper. We're going to work with you guys and help you really understand all of the bells and whistles. What we have here in front of us, okay, is really an incredible toolbox that allows you to go out there and be effective and manage your entire pipeline when it comes to ERC. There's also a lot of built-in tools that help follow up with your potential prospects and clients all the time, always pushing them to the next step. So what do we do when we find someone, we ask that question, have you heard of or have you filed for the employee retention credit? No, what's that? Oh, well, it's a stimulus program for business owners that retain their employees during the pandemic. I'd love to connect you with an expert firm you can speak with an expert advisor. It's a 10-minute call. They will tell you if you qualify, why you qualify, how much you might be looking at, and they're going to guide you step by step through this process. And all you need to do is submit some documents. There's no risk. There's no upfront cost. I don't know if that was really mentioned here, guys. There's no upfront cost to these businesses, period. If and when they're able to obtain funds for that business is the only time that business will ever pay a fee, will ever be invoiced, period. So there's no risk to this process. And that's important to think about as you guys go out there and speak with businesses. You know, there are firms out there charging tens of thousands of dollars up front. It's pretty crazy. So with that said, guys, there's really one main thing you want to know and keep in mind. We're going to focus on these areas right here. We are logged into this portal. Every one of you guys is going to get access to this. There's training built in here. There's marketing built in here. But let's focus on how do we onboard a new business? So we asked that question, and now that business wants to speak with an expert advisor at Bottom Line. How do we connect them? So what we do is we all have access to our affiliate link. Now, before you do this, you're going to see a basic training here. There's going to be a red area. I don't have it available to pull up just now, but it's in order to unlock your links, you go through a simple training. It's 15 minutes of video and you answer 10 questions, right? We want to make sure that everyone that goes through this process who's promoting the opportunity has, you know, the right basic knowledge and is equipped with the confidence to go out there and make sure that they know that the way they're representing the opportunity is correct as well. So if you find someone that's interested, you can do this in one of two ways. You can send them your affiliate link, right? Let's say you're on the phone. They say, yes, I'm open to having a call. You can send it to them, but I'd like to really make sure that that information gets submitted, and I, might do it for them. So that link looks like this. It's a beautifully branded, mobile-friendly, highly optimized, highly converting landing page that properly represents what is ERC. It builds credibility. Obviously, we have Bottom Line's brand, right? And this is where all the magic happens. We have the simple bullets, right? Free stimulus program, average refund. We specialize in this process. Qualify in 5 minutes, speak with an expert advisor. We make it easy and handle the whole process. This is the type of marketing that you want to make sure your potential clients, right? The customers that you're bringing in, the business owners, they know that they know this information. You want to make sure they know that it's a grant. It's not a loan. There's no need to pay it back. There's no upfront fees. There's no credit check. There's no risk. And if you've already filed for PPP, it's a huge misconception, as Michael said, that many businesses out there and many accountants will tell their businesses that they don't qualify because they've already received PPP, or that they don't qualify because they didn't have enough of a decline or reduction in revenue. As we mentioned, that's not the case. A business can qualify with operational impacts. How was their business impacted during the pandemic? Did they have to change their operational hours? Did they have a reduction in workforce or employees? Did they have to reduce the services they've offered? Lack of travel, lack of group meetings, social distancing, supply chain issues. All of these are reasons, and check boxes that if a business can answer yes to one or more of these, that they would very likely qualify for the program. What are people saying about it, right? This is your tool here, guys. This is, your ability to properly represent and market the program. Who are the clients? Let's see an explainer video. What's the process like, right? More about the program. What has Bottom Line done? As you can see, they're moving so fast, right? They're at $6 billion already that we didn't even have time to update the marketing material. That's how much, that's how much business they're doing. Incredible testimonials from executives, from Martha Stewart, GNC, and so much more. And then, of course, how the service works. So, I can go on and on, the clients and the credibility is there, but this is your best marketing asset ever. There's no one who will look at this page and say, I am not, I don't know if I trust this company. However, so let's go back. You have someone who's interested, you want to plug in their information right into this form. Or like I said, you can send them your landing page link. However you do it, whatever's best, make sure you get this into the system. And it's as simple as collecting the first name, last name, email, phone number, the legal name of the business, right? What industry is it in, right? Is it, a tech company? You can just search for it easily and select it. You want to, of course, we want to validate and make sure we are working with business owners, decision makers, right? And so if you're out there, if you're one of those people who are doing internet marketing, you can use this. You can do email blasts. You can post on social media. You can do paid advertising, Google ads, Facebook ads. However you drive traffic to this page, this form will help validate and ensure that we are getting the right people through it. And once they select, who they are, we're going to collect their role, right? Are they the CEO? Are they the owner? Are they the treasurer, CFO, or financial controller? There's many decision maker titles that can go through this process as long as they have the permission to do it. And we're going to collect how many W-2 employees do they have. And so on the next step here, I might as well actually just show you guys. I'll submit a test lead here. And this is exactly the process that every single business will go through. And it's very, very simple. If you have someone on the phone, I highly recommend don't send them this link. Ask them the information over the phone and get it filled out for them, just like I'm doing right here in front of you. So here's Eric's business, right? And I have, let's say, 10 W-2 employees. And as soon as I submit this, and there's Spanish speaking availability too, we missed that. But on the next step, this is really the step you want to make sure you get done, because until this happens, there's no moving forward. And what this step is booking that 10-minute call with Bottom Line. Now, if you're driving traffic and someone decided that they want to submit the form, they're interested, they love the message on the landing page, but then they say, oh, I got to book a call, or something like that, we still capture that data. And I'm going to show you guys exactly where all that data lives, how you can, really go through and analyze it. You can follow up with it. Everything you need is available to you, the full toolbox. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead. If I'm on the phone with a client, I'm going to say, does Thursday in the afternoon work for you? Sure. And you can go ahead and do that. Today's already ending here. So let's say Friday. Look at this availability, guys. 10-minute increments. They have, Michael, how many ERC advisors do you have working now? I mean, 40, 50, 60? Oh, you're muted. It's somewhere.
Yeah, we have about 50 advisors at this point right now, but there's never a time that's not really available. So, it's really easy to get that appointment at any time that they want, and also Saturday and Sunday as well.
Exactly. There you go. So I love that, because I know that whatever time that client tells me that they want to have that call, someone is going to call them at that time. And I got to tell you guys, I've been on the phone. There's one important thing I want everyone to think about. These are your relationships, right? You are now bringing your personal relationships into the mix, and there's a level of trust and confidence you want to be able to have. You want to stand behind this, right? And ensure that whatever service you're offering, whatever the offer is, that you feel confident with it. These guys, the advisors that speak with these clients, they are so professional. They are for sure experts in what they do. They understand different types of industries and can relate to the client, whether they're in construction, food and beverage, medical, or health. They will be able to relate to them, and they are so patient and just, they handle it with such elegance. I've listened in, you guys will have the opportunity too, but they are just truly experts, and their job is to close a client. They're going to explain, why they qualify, if they qualify, and they are going to push them to the next step. And that's where we're going to move on to now. But once we submit this, which I'm not going to do because it will actually book a call, but you choose that day and time, it will populate all the information from the lead form. You don't need to touch it. You can add some notes here if you want as well. Maybe here's a common scenario. This business owner has 4 companies, right? Guess what Bottom Line is going to do? When they get on the call with them, they're going to break down all their companies. They're going to understand each one. They're going to create a deal for each one. And all of that information is going to flow back into the back office. I've had the opportunity to plug in one business, and I had 9 other entities flow back, and I just got 9 deals. Bam, just like that. So keep that in mind, guys. And they will always ask, and you don't have to put that in there, but they will always kind of figure it out with them. It's part of that process. So let's say we book that call. Where do we go to see our lead? Number one, you'll get a notification. You'll know, congratulations, you got a new lead. You'll see this information flow in. But all of that's going to live right here in your leads and referral section. And we can see, underneath what Don was showing us as far as our snapshot of the earnings, we have our ERC pipeline. And we're going to go through some of these categories here now. But this will show you kind of a glance of how these deals move through this process. But let's go to the main section here. So number one, we have
Eric, one thing I was going to mention, I love that you showed the referral form, because what business is going to, the stuff you're asking for is so non-personal. It's like, 6 pieces of information. There's no revenue numbers in there. It's like anybody would answer those questions. That's just great.
Yep. And I did. So as I mentioned too, if they're Spanish speaking, I think there's a huge market in with the Spanish speaking with business owners. And so if you check this box, then they're going to be routed automatically to a Spanish speaking advisor. So I just wanted everyone to know that.
So Eric, so just another question for the group. So when you book that appointment, does Michael and his team do some sales work, and what happens when they call that advisor?
You're saying when the advisor calls a client?
When the advisor calls them, yeah. Can you explain that process to us a little bit?
Yeah. So
Michael or Eric?
Yeah, Michael, please do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, so they're going to call the advisor they're going to call the client at the time. right? It's going to be a talk about ERC, the expansion of the program. And that's where we're really going to listen to the client about their business, right? It's questions such as how many W-2 employees you have, what state are you in, how many PPP loans did you take, what did you have the revenue decrease? If you didn't, what type of operational, challenges did you have during it? It's all in an effort to pre-qualify them for ERC. And then after that, we'll switch the subject to bottom line and why we are so great and why we're the best choice. And then at the end of the call, we'll quote a contingency fee.
And Michael, when a customer calls you, what percentage would you say agree and move on to getting that agreement signed?
I mean, when we're just getting to an appointment, it's like 45% that will end up filing. But when we send out an agreement, when we're able to capture them and send out an agreement, it jumps to like 89%. Right.
Wow,
so it's really crazy how once you get, because listen, there's a lot of competitors out there's a lot of information out there. So it's our opportunity to really capture their attention and explain to them what's happening. But again, once we send out an agreement, the success is tremendous.
Well,
Hey, Michael.
I just think that's amazing, because if you think about it, and what again, this kind of gets back to about some of the simplicity. We got to collect 6 pieces of information, and then we're sending our leads over to a professional sales force that we're not paying for, that's contingency based. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So anyway.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Carlos.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and also emphasize to everybody is the level of professionalism that Bottom Line has. Not only that, and we understand, and one of the common themes that we heard was that, hey, I have a full-time job, and we all get it. But we all speak to different people every single day. We go to the restaurant, we go to the supermarket, and that's when we actually get to help these people by understanding some of the benefits that are available. And I could speak about this on the way that Bottom Lines and a lot of the reps work. All you got to do is collect the six pieces of information and then submit it to them. They take care of the rest. You will be able to see it in your dashboard as they communicate. And every once in a while, yeah, you may have that one-on-one type of relationship with that business owner, and then you may want to do the little push forward, but they will take care of everything else. So that's what I want to make sure, and I love that you actually touch on that, Don. The level of professionalism that they have, and they will follow up. Trust me, they will follow up with them until they get to the side. So
yes, and you're a great point, Carlos. And you're getting the best of both worlds, because Bottom Line is absolutely experts in this process. They understand the gaps. They understand where clients get stuck. There's a little bit of commitment from the client. They got to get their documents together. They got to get it submitted. But together also with the system, now you're getting the best of both worlds. But I've watched how, honestly, 40, 50, 60% of deals, they literally, with no human interaction, right? And maybe some basic follow-up sequences, which are happening from both sides, okay, and congruent, are literally going through this process and hitting the finish line. We have people that I've never even spoken with, got some leads here, there, whatever it is. Warm market is huge, guys. I encourage it tremendously. If you're planning on doing online advertising or email blasts or social media, I encourage that as well. But start with your warm market contacts. This is a strong referral-based system. And I'll tell you, the moment you get a business owner to the finish line, you create a raving fan. You become the person forever that is known for putting $2, $3, $8, $100,000 in their pocket. There's nothing, you're establishing and re-engaging this relationship. So there's so much to train on. We'll talk about those strategies, but it's just such an incredible opportunity.
Eric, kind of getting back to the brass nuts of it. It's like my my little brother watching him do it. He's a air conditioning guy, so he was so freaking nervous to call a business. He was terrified, and he picked the phone up in his hand and was shaking. But after he did 6 or 7, he's like, I'm starting to have fun, bro, and I'm starting to enjoy this. And it took him a couple of weeks, but he got his first deal. And I think Rick and I looked yesterday. I think he's now up to I think he's got like $41,000 in commissions now that are due to him. And I think he started about 6 weeks ago. So for him, that's life changing. He was the guy's been making $25 an hour his whole life, and all of a sudden he's making $41,000 in a week and a half. So
every deal
I encourage everybody, just don't be afraid. Just get in there, do the training, make those first calls. It'll be a little scary, but again, if you have a relationship with them, if they're willing to fill out 6 pieces of information and then go to our incredibly professional sales force who stone cold know what they're doing, who are the best in the business. Who wouldn't want to start a business with those kind of resources? I think it's just amazing.
Absolutely. So guys, let's continue on in the training. I want to make sure you get the full scope because, starting today, tomorrow, whenever you guys launching this tonight, you ready? Yeah.
We are full ready.
So at the end of this call, I believe everyone's going to be getting access to this. So with that said, I want to make sure you guys have the basic knowledge to be able to bring businesses into the system and understand the just most common steps right after that. So you can take action until the next training. So with that said, guys, we remember what we did. We spoke with the business owner. They were interested in ERC. Great. Let me connect you. Let me get you on the phone with an advisor, with an expert. They'll tell you if you qualify. I got their information. I plugged it in the form. I booked a call. Now I'm in here in my system. I went to my leads and referrals, and this is my overall pipeline. This shows me the process. How many leads were brought in? How many calls were booked? How many were completed? How many of them were lost? Were not eligible, let's say, okay? How many agreements were sent out, right? We discussed that on that call. They signed that contingency agreement, which what does that do? That engages the project managers, the tax accountants at Bottom Line Concepts to start working for, on the behalf of the business owner. That's what's happening here. Then we have the agreements that are signed, right? They fill out questionnaires, they gather docs, they go into review, then they get submitted to the IRS. So this allows you a full visibility of your pipeline. You can turn on and off the charts on the line on the charts. And this gives you kind of a glance, but let's really dive in. Under your deals section, this is where I want everyone to focus when they're getting their deals, when you're getting deals submitted through your landing pages, through your opt-in forms. This is going to show you guys, let me close this. This is going to show you, right? Here's a lead I just submitted on the call. It was a 10-person employee technology company. I didn't book the call, right? Because I didn't want to submit it, but I still captured the data. So, there's a variety of stages and statuses that are real time, guys. We are, this system is speaking with Bottom Line and getting updates every 15 minutes. The most powerful thing about running a business is knowing what's happening within your business. If you don't have accurate information to make decisions on what the next step is, you are at a loss. So having understanding on, great, this person booked a call. I don't need to bother them. Let them have their call. This person was sent an agreement, okay? And now they need to sign it, right? So with that said, you're going to see a variety of different stages and statuses and tags and things like that. We have full trainings on this, but I'll tell you where you guys want to focus. So number one, if you are doing online marketing and someone submits the opt-in form, they were interested, but they never booked their call, you'll see them as an initial stage. And what you want to do is you want to reach out to that person, say, hey, I saw you were interested in the ERC program. The next step would be to get on the phone with one of our advisors. Let's get you booked. And you can click this link right here, and it's going to pick up where it left off and allow you to book that call because that person didn't complete the next step, right? So that's step one. Let's make sure the calls are booked. We also see statuses like meeting booked, right? And that's fine. We leave that alone. The next, you'll be able to sort through all the different stages and statuses. And I don't want to overwhelm anyone on this call. We're going to go through and we're not going to focus on too many, but there's multiple things that can happen when that call is had, right? Number one is they're ready to move forward and they were sent an agreement. We want to make sure they get that signed. And if they didn't sign it yet, right? You might want to look over at the date over here. When was this created? 5/4, right? That's today. So this person was sent an agreement today. And essentially, I want to give them a little bit of time to do that. So I'm not going to bother them. So with that said, you want to make sure that any older ones that are in agreement sent, you can reach out. Hey, I know you had your call with an advisor. It seemed like you were interested in moving forward. Did you have questions on the agreement? Did you want to maybe get back on the phone with an advisor and ask those questions? You can reschedule that call, or you can encourage them to get it signed. What if they say that I missed it, and they send it again to me? No problem. You can click here and you can resend the agreement to them as well. And that's automated process. Furthermore, what else can happen? Sometimes we're going to see people who they're not ready to make a decision yet on that phone call. We'll see those come up as a waiting decision. This one happened to get lost. So let's find another one here. I'm going to go to that status. And so we see here's awaiting decisions. These are all people, some of them significantly sized companies, who got on a call with Bottom Line and need to make a decision. Same thing. Why would they make, what does that mean? Maybe they needed to confer with their business partner or their spouse. Maybe they wanted some more information sent to them. Maybe they wanted to shop around a little bit, even though there's, after hearing all of the credibility and knowing that bottom line is going to maximize their return, there's not much reason for them to do that. But with that said, this is your ability to follow up with them. And I'll zoom out here a little bit so we can see more information. But you want to make sure that you follow up and say, hey, I saw you had your call, but you weren't ready to make a decision. Is there something I can do, right? Can I help answer any questions? Can I get you back on the phone with an advisor to move forward? And so that happens in that case. So we went over and the next step is also very, very common, is they were unreachable, right? That can happen all the time. They missed their call with an advisor. Now, I want you guys to also understand, and I'll try to speed it up here a little bit, is that throughout this process, there's follow-up notifications that are happening via SMS, via email, and reminding people about the next step that they need to take. Hey, we sent it looks like you had your call with your advisor and you're qualified. We sent you over an agreement. Did you have a chance to sign it? We're waiting on your signature. We'd love to get started on your ERC. Hey, we see you missed your call, right? That's what we're talking about now. Whoops, you missed your call with your ERC advisor. No worries. Here's a link to rebook. You were ready to get started getting you the funds you deserve. And so the system is following up with you guys, but I highly encourage every single one of you to take advantage of the visibility that you have here and make those calls. Reach out. They move the needle a lot. So in that case, if they're
to that point, though, that's kind of what we talked about earlier, right, guys? This is the difference between just going with a pure, because the technology will send the emails and Eric's plan, it'll do the SMS, but that human touch, when you call somebody and you remind them what's going on, it's incalculable the difference that makes. So we can rely on the technology, but let's pick up the phone and make the call. And that's what this system will support. And Eric hasn't even gotten to the task, but there's a whole daily method of operation. And I don't think we want to overwhelm Eric, because at this point, I think our next call.
I'm going to keep it focused. And listen, you want to know how to think about it, guys? Every deal is a big deal. There's $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 commissions available. So that one phone call that you make, that one follow-up, building rapport with clients, right? You have people coming in, reaching out, say, hi, my name is Eric. I want to let you know I'm available to you all the time. Here's my phone number. If you have any questions or need any help throughout this process, because if you do that and later down the line they get stuck, you are not just another voice on the end of the phone reaching out to them all of a sudden who they have no idea who you are. If you build rapport in the beginning of these relationships, they will appreciate it. Number one. Number two is they will always have something to go back to. And number three is there's familiarity there. And you're not just, hey, oh, by the way, I'm the person who referred you in if I was doing internet marketing or whatever. And all of a sudden you're just someone else on the other end of the line. So I encourage that a lot. And this is, I don't want to get too much into the strategy training, but as you guys go out there and get your first deals and start booking your first calls, I wanted to give you the understanding. So let's do a quick recap of just everything. We're going out there, we're fighting business owners who have W-2 employees, right? We're in business, during the pandemic and are interested in hearing about the program and speaking with an advisor. We use our affiliate links, we plug in their information, easy, we book their call, we monitor our back office to see what is the progress of those deals, and we take action on the ones that need follow-up, meaning they never booked their call, they submitted their information, didn't book their call, they either booked their call, they were sent an agreement and need to sign it. Now, when they sign their agreement, guess what? It goes into another stage automatically. It goes into gathering docs. We'll talk about that later. And so, and this way you guys are going to have good visibility and understanding what happens later in the process. But for now, get those calls booked, guys.
Eric, how do the folks in this line right now sign up tonight? What are they going to do?
That's Carlos and Brock will provide a link, I believe, to everyone where you're going to be able to onboard yourself. You're going to go through the basic training. You're going to unlock your links and you're off to the races, guys.
So we got a little bit ahead. I mean, some of these people already been signing up already. So they have some visibility of the back office.
There you go.
You're actually making their day, and they had questions. And I said, hold your questions, because Eric is going to be here and he's going to be like Santa giving gifts out.
Yes.
So go ahead, man.
And there's a lot of information. So getting the calls booked, right? And just monitoring those first couple stages. You can see them here. Meeting booked, unreachable, awaiting decision, agreement sent. These, you're going to look out for that, and you can follow our training. We have, right in the training section, we have strategy on how to go through every single status and what to do with it. Furthermore, I'm just going to touch upon this quickly. We'll train on it again. When your pipeline starts to mature, when you start filling this with deals, and guys, this is all about filling your pipeline. 80% of your time should be going out there, talking with people, opening doors, making phone calls. If you're doing the internet marketing thing, great. All of it. You want to, the more you're out there talking about this program, the more you're going to be known for the person, as a person doing it, and build those relationships. But our system over time, when you start, this account has 1,535 leads that were submitted, business owners. And our system has identified here, if you see your tasks, has identified 309 deals that need specific follow-up. We're analyzing your deals for you. We're putting them into buckets, and we're helping you identify and track. We create tasks. So essentially our system is a personal assistant analyzing your deals, knowing how long they've been in those stages. Are they stuck, right? These are all the action items that clients need to do. Were they unreachable? Are they waiting a decision? This is exactly what we just discussed. But here we can filter it out, and we can allow ourselves, in this case, look, let's take an example here. I'm going to go into, and I'm not going to train more on it, guys. So here's 100 deals that have been sent agreements. Okay, guys, 100 deals. Look at the age, 10 days old, right? 14 days old. Have I taken action on this? Have I completed the task to reach out using the goals that are provided in the system? It literally lays it out for you. I'll leave it at that. We'll train on it more, but there's so many useful tools within the system that literally can help you be more effective. I want to share one more area, which is also very, very straightforward. We talked about how to onboard a business, how to get them started. Use your link, get them in there, book the call, do the follow-ups. How do you build your team? How do you get that 5% earning right here? How do you start getting this? It's very simple. You want to use this link here. And essentially, this is the process that all of you guys are going to be going through. Sign up. Some of you have. But essentially, you have the ability to bring out someone else on. You will, it's also a landing page. Okay. It has information and marketing about becoming a referral partner in this program. It builds credibility with bottom line. And you want to make sure, you'll see some of the marketing has changed. Your relationships and referrals are in good hands, right? If you're a referral partner handing off your relationships, the business owners that you want to know that it's in good hands, right? So that it builds trust there. And we go over the tech, we go over the process. So if you want to build your team, you send out this link. I'm sure you guys will have access to this webinar. You probably want to send them a replay of the webinar, send them your link, and get them off to the races. But it's that easy to start building your team. And you can actually, you can see your team too under referral partners here. So you have the ability to see all the people that you signed up and track their progress as well.
Cool.
Before we move on, the last thing that I want to say, and guys, I'm sorry if I took too much time there. There's just so much to talk about with the system is we've built, and we're going to do another training on this, but we built the ability to offer custom incentives, meaning as you go out there, like I said, it's all about referrals. And as you start helping business owners, get their ERC, the best people to get referrals from are the business owners that you've helped. They know other business owners, and they just went through the process. They're true believers in knowing this, and they're going to be happy to make referrals, right? But they're not going to be affiliates, most of them, right? They're busy. There might be a doctor, might be a lawyer. They don't have time to be affiliates and do the follow-ups and do this training, right? So with that said, our system allows you to say, you know what? I'm so happy I was able to help you with your ERC. I'd love, I think now is a good time that, if you have any referrals, I'd love to take care of them like I did for you. And just as a bonus, I'll give you $1,000 or $500 per referral. We have a system that allows them to simply make a referral. They pass a name to you, and our system will track all that. They can put their payout settings, everything set up, and allows you to create custom incentivizers, right? Maybe I'll give you 50% of the commission. Maybe I'll give you $500. But regardless, what happens is it allows them to pass the deal to you. It goes into your account, and it's your job as an affiliate, right, to go and close them. So now they don't need to do the whole process. Here's the referral. Go close them up. We both win. And the system tracks. It does the 1099s. It does everything it needs to do, the tax information. the commission payouts. It creates a binding agreement between you and them and allows you to do that. So we'll train on how to use this and set up referral funnels.
You just talk about this. I know Eric and his team thought this up. This he's rushing through this, but this, because we will do, like he said, we'll do more training. But this, since these guys rolled this out a couple of weeks, has been exploding that it's used, because you think about, to Eric's point, people don't want to join stuff, right? You tell them you got to join something. They don't want to join something, but hey, everybody knows a business, and you say, and, you know, and they're, well, I think people in general want to help their friends. If you incentivize them to help you, look, Eric, every single time you send me business, I'll give you $1,000 if they file. Eric's going to send me some names at that point, right? Or if it's if it's Carlos, and Carlos I know is really well connected, but Carlos is very busy with this thing. But boy, he wouldn't mind making 50% of every deal for doing literally next to nothing. This is a game changer. But I wouldn't get too focused on this yet. We'll get into this in the next week or so. For tonight, you got to get signed up on the system, and you got to start driving people to that funnel, and let's get that information set up and start booking calls with Michael. Because you guys, here's the thing: this is a land grab. Now we got some 500 days left or so before this is over with, and it's all done. So this is a land grab at this point. If you want to make a cool mill in the next year, you got to get busy and you got to get going on this thing. So I wouldn't wait. The longer you wait to call a business, somebody else is going to give them that same call. So just understand there is a sense of urgency to this, and we got to go at it. We got to go at it hard. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want me to touch on the system side for tonight?
No, I think you did great. We're going to be covering more as we go along. But Don, guys, thank you so much. You guys are phenomenal. So real quick, for everybody who's joining us on our Zoom call here, I'm going ahead and putting the link in the chat. If you haven't already signed up, go ahead and click that button. That'll allow you to sign up. So Carlos, what do you think? Should we open up the floor to Q&A now, or?
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. I know that some of you have some questions, and at the same time, please go ahead. This is the time. This is the time. We have Eric over here. As you see, Don is
Eric,
behind.
awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm sorry. Eric was so Eric is actually the brains behind everything that you see over here. And a couple of days ago, and one thing that I want to go ahead and kind of put out there, some of you have taken the reins already, and one of you have already 3 deals in the works already, 3 of them already. So her name is Darcy Agosque. So congratulations to you. We are going to be doing this every week, and we're going to be giving some prizes to whoever is the leader, is on the top of the leaderboard. So the next day that we're going to have a training is going to be Monday. But tonight, I know some of you have some questions. If you have a question, please, this is the time to go ahead and ask.
Yeah, guys, hey, just raise your hand. You've got a raise hand button. Raise it. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, and we'll tackle those questions.
Let's go.
Now, good job, Darcy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yes, it's killing it already.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right. Any questions, guys? I know that you guys have so many questions, and we try to answer the best as we could. But go ahead. This is the time.
I'll throw out a common question, and just to kick things off here, that we have our webinars all the time. We have a lot of questions asked for us. One of the hardest, and Michael, I know you're great at this. A lot of the times people have financial advisors, they're accountants, right? They're lawyers, and sometimes they like to get involved in the mix, right? The business owner's almost ready to make a decision, or they want to consult with their CPA, and very commonly, like Michael said, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so Michael, if you don't mind, I'll take a stab at your strategy from the video, which I've used over and over again, guys. Proven. Very commonly they'll say, my accountant says I don't qualify, I didn't have enough reduction in revenue. And you say, listen, I completely understand and respect the fact that you have a financial advisor, right? All I'm asking you to do is not make any decisions right now, and to speak with an expert, right, at a company that has done over 35,000 filings. There's no risk, there's no obligation. They specialize in this process. They know how to maximize your return, and they're going to tell you if you really do qualify. So, I respect, the fact that you have an advisor, but all I'm asking you to do is to get on the phone for 10 minutes and see really if you do or don't. Would you say that, Michael?
Yeah. I mean, listen, when people say to me, because I'll go to them and tell the whole thing, and they're like, oh, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk to my advisor. And I'm like, you're like, oh shit, what do I say? Right.
Yeah.
So you have to respond quickly. So absolutely, it's an IRS filing. You should absolutely speak to your financial advisor, right? But what I'm saying to you is let's not work backwards, right? It's very possible that your advisor may tell you don't qualify. I want you to get on a phone with an advisor because it's free. It's a 10, 15 minutes, the best 10, 15 minutes you're ever going to spend in your life. Hear why you do qualify so you can go back to your advisor and have an intelligent conversation, right? And then make a decision that's best for you and your business.
That sounds comfy.
Love it.
Answer was great.
And they might say to you, so why can't my advisor why can't my CPA just do this for me? Right. And you need to have that answer too, right? So the majority of CPAs and accountants are not trained to do this filing. Very complicated, 200-page tax document, right? What we've seen when CPAs try to do this on their own, anybody can try to do this. If you've ever tried to do a filing on the IRS website, it is absolutely awful, right? Anybody can try to do it. But if you try and you don't maximize, you're going to leave a tremendous amount of money on the table, right? And also, not intentionally, but they can expose you to an audit because they're just not trained how to do this effectively. In fact, Bottom Line works with some of the top CPA firms, top accounting firms in the US, right? Period. Because most accountants don't even want to do this work. And the last thing I'll say, because I can talk for hours, right? So there's another firm that's offering us less money. They're offering to do it for 10%, 15%, and it's less. Okay. So when in life does paying less for something equate a better result? When did you go to buy a car and you bought one that cost half the amount of money and you felt good about it afterwards? Doesn't exist. It really doesn't. There are some clients who are like, I just want the most money. I'm not scared of audits and I just want to do anything that's getting me the most money and I don't care. But those are far and few between. Most people are very concerned about how do I do this? How do I do this correctly? And how do I avoid a possible audit in the future? Because they're dealing with the IRS, right? So there's an answer for everything. And that's why knowledge is power. Eric can talk to you for hours about this and give you the right steps and what to do. You want to keep it simple. You want to seem educated and knowledgeable and get them to take that call. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that we commonly tell everyone is, you want the right amount of knowledge. Don't try to be the expert. Don't try to be that person. The goal is, you know what? My job here is to make sure that I don't waste your time. And based on what you told me, it is absolutely worth, those 5-10 minutes to get on a call with an advisor. It's very, very simple. And to speak to
Go ahead.
go.
I was saying the other thing to you really triggered something I think is super important is at the end of the day, if I have to call, if I call Darcy and tell Darcy about, I want to get her to do a refund on her business, and I wax poetic for 2 hours about the ERC program, well, what's Darcy going to think? I got to know the same thing that Don knew in order to do this, right? Some people, you refer to this as duplication, right? The simpler you make the process, they're going to do the same thing that you did. So if you want to make it take a PhD, go ahead, but you're going to need a bunch of PhDs doing the work. If you can keep it laser simple, do these few things, boom, 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 everybody can envision themselves doing that and they'll do the same behavior. Keep it simple.
Absolutely. That's it for me.
Awesome. I think Richie, you had a question. You got your hand up. I think you're
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
Yes.
All right, perfect. I know, like, when it comes down to a lot of things, urgency is what really drives, and scarcity drives the market. So I heard that you said there was about like 500 days or so left for this program. Do you actually know the exact the data it will be cut off so that would be monumental when you're trying to, get people to, really pull the trigger?
Yeah. So, you can file, they've extended it recently, right? So you can file for ERC up until April of 2024 for 2020 and April of 2025 for 2021. And that sounds like a good amount of time. But the urgency is in the fact that it takes time for the IRS to process. And we want to tell our clients, yeah, there's time, but the program has taken several changes over the course of time. And you never know when there's another emergency, God forbid, another thing that's going to go on where they may want to redirect funds or make changes, right? They made all positive changes. The one negative change is they took away the fourth quarter of 2021 when they had the Inflation Reduction Act, right? Interesting that they poured all this stimulus in, caused the inflation, then they took back one of the quarters. That's okay. But when it comes down to it, the urgency is that we want to get them analyzed, We want to get them ready. We want to get them filed so that we all feel better, including the business owner, when the money is in their accounts, period.
Yeah. So if you guys got that. So for the year of 2020, it's April of 2024. To file for the year of 2021, it's April of 2025. There you go. Excellent. Come on, guys. No more questions?
I'm sure they're gonna have some.
Back to you, Brock.
All right, cool. So guys, if we don't have any other questions, what we're going to be doing on a regular basis is Mondays, weekly at the same time, 7 o'clock, we're going to be providing you live trainings. Okay. So we want this to be an opportunity for you guys to get your feet wet, right? Play around with a little bit, make a couple of calls, because we know that you're going to have questions. It's just the sales process, right? So we want to be able to provide you with that information so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over, or that you can bring that information to the clients that you're trying to refer. Okay, so 7 o'clock, we'll also be sending you notifications on these live trainings as well. But our next one, guys, is going to be Monday, 7 o'clock. So please put that on your schedule. We'll be reaching out to you to remind you. But again, you know, what I want from this is I want you guys to get out there. I want you guys to go talk to some businesses, start building some of that client base, that revenue coming in. And then we know that you're going to have questions. It's just like any other sales process. And bring those questions on Monday, because those questions just aren't for you. They're for literally everybody else that's going to be joining us as well. Because if you have that question, I guarantee somebody else had that question too. Awesome. So,
All right.
Carlos, finish us off here.
No, definitely. Thank you, Brock. Michael, thank you for taking the time tonight. Definitely, that's some well-deserved knowledge. And thank you for actually, thank you,
Alan. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Don. You guys are wealth of knowledge as well, helping us out. And guys, like in the Strata Vega Capital, we want to bring to you the best. And this is the best team that we found out there that can help you out in order to be successful in the ERC, especially for the time frame and the next couple of years. But again, once again, time is of the essence. Make sure that you get out there. And if you need help, yes, we're going to have some training on Monday, but if you need help, give us a call. Just give us a call. We'll do it. If we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer for you. But until the next time, guys, once again, thank you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. And let's get out there and let's make some money. Okay.
Everybody have a good night.